Hi, this is Willie Crawford, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today. As you can see from the slide, what I'm going to be discussing with you today is how to land more joint ventures and then how to get those joint venture partners to follow through, or if you want to do the job I do, which is a joint venture broker, how to get paid big bucks for doing this exact same thing for other people. That is, getting more joint venture partners for other people and then getting those joint venture partners to follow through. If I can get my slides to work. Okay, first of all, you should be wondering anytime you listen to someone give a presentation who they are, and you want to know, what makes them qualified to teach you the topic they're teaching. Well, I grew up on a farm in North Carolina, a tobacco farm, and I spent the first 20 years of my life more or less living on that farm. Most of my summers while I was in college, I went to NC State University. I'd go back to the farm to work a farm job, and I grew up in extreme poverty. I spent most of my youth on welfare. So I didn't have a luxurious lifestyle most of my life. Lately, through my own efforts and through things I've learned via the internet, I do live quite well now, but it was something I had to learn to do and had to work my way into, and it's some of the things I'll share with you today. I am a grandparent. That's my third grandchild. I have a 7-year-old granddaughter, a 1.5-year grandson, and that's my granddaughter, my third one, who is about 10 days old in that picture. She was born 6 weeks premature. That's why she's a little thin there. She hadn't put on all that baby fat yet, but she's nice and healthy now. But she's part of my reason why I do what I do and why I also insist upon the lifestyle that I have, which is to give me time to spend with my family. I travel a lot. These are actually nieces. These are in the Philippines. My wife is from the Philippines, and these young ladies are all in their early 20s. And I remember when every single one of them was born, because when my first trip over to the Philippines, when I was in the Air Force, they were like little tiny babies. I remember some of them in diapers still. I started my internet marketing business back in 1996. I didn't retire from the U.S. Air Force until 2003, so by the time I retired from the Air Force, I'd already built my internet marketing business into a full-time business. At first, it was like many people start their businesses. It was a spare time thing that I did in the midst of or in between flights and an office job that I held with the Air Force, a lot of staff jobs like at headquarters, PACAF. I spent 4 years doing mostly paperwork and managing budgets and things like that, writing regulations. And so I learned to manage people. I learned to manage actually part of a multi-billion-dollar budget. So I developed some real skills there while I was in the military. And yet I started my business before leaving the military because I wasn't sure how long I was going to stay. Going out of college, I was thinking I would just spend 4 or 5 years in the Air Force while I figure out what I really want to do with my life. And 47 countries and 5 languages later, I retired from the Air Force and was ready to go full-time internet marketing. And I actually started the careers of many of the better-known people that you probably heard of in internet marketing, or at least contributed to their careers. For example, I list Stephen Pierce here. Stephen first spoke at an internet marketing seminar I hosted in 2003. Ken MacArthur first spoke at an internet marketing seminar hosted in 2004. Andrea Lee spoke at that same one. She was already, at that seminar, she was teaching people how to take a business from the 6-figure to the 7-figure level, so she was already quite successful. Greg Caesar, first time he really looked at internet marketing was back in 2003 at my first seminar. David Preston, I met in 2007, got Michael Penland to put him on stage, and he became an internet marketing legend and a legend in the local offline world, and he has never slowed down. I don't take credit for creating who these people were, but I gave many of these people a hand up, and I knew, Yannick Silver and Mike Filsaime and Frank Kern and all those guys when they were really just getting started. So my point is, I've been around for a long time, and I know all these people. My first product was a cookbook back in 2002. Sitting in my room at Eglin Air Force Base, I wrote out a cookbook in Microsoft Word that I started selling, and that cookbook got me noticed by Dr. Bob Silber, who wanted someone to speak at his seminar in the Florida Keys in December of 2002, who actually had a physical product that was doing well. So Bob invited me to speak, and that was the first seminar I ever spoke at. And I loved that so much, and I learned so much from that seminar and from interacting with the other speakers that I decided I was going to host my own seminar. I thought it would be fun. And so April of the following year, I hosted my very first seminar. And April of the following year after that, 2004, I hosted another one. And then I decided I had enough posting seminars. But At that first seminar in December of '02, I met people like Marty Foley, Fred Gleek, Frank Guerin, Armin Morin. There was a variety of speakers. Jonathan Mizell flew in from Hawaii. And what I instantly noticed was that all these speakers were very, very willing to work with each other. They said, why don't we work together and jointly create products and services and cross-promote each other? And that was a new concept to me, the whole concept of joint ventures, of working with your competitors rather than against them, was just alien to me. In fact, I remember very distinctly Jonathan talking about pay-per-click and talking about the guys who outbid you in the pay-per-click industry. He said, they've spent all that money and all that traffic is not converting. He says, why don't you go to them and say to them, look, here's my affiliate link. Put my affiliate link on an exit pop-up so that that traffic you've already paid for that hasn't converted, as it's leaving, you capture some of your money back by promoting my product. He said, if your competitors don't see the logic in that, he said, they're going to be out of business very soon. He said, and for the ones who say no, because some of them will, he said, you use that four-letter word on them, which is next. So that very first seminar, that was one of the most enduring lessons I learned, is that your competitors aren't really your competitors. They're all potential joint venture partners. And that got me in the mindset of learning to work with people that I had previously viewed as competitors. And that's what I want you to develop the thought process of. Now, I went on to get some training by John Childers, who teaches professional speakers. So I am a trained platform speaker when I choose to use some of those skills. And John taught me, he said, in order to be in demand as a speaker in the U.S., he said, you need to speak internationally. So I went and spoke at a few seminars in the UK. I spoke in Singapore. I spoke in Malaysia. I shared the stage with Jay Abraham. And so it was really, really, really neat. And so I've spoken probably close to 70, 80 seminars, and I've attended probably close to 150 seminars and live events now. And it's fun, but the travel can get exhausting. I like traveling now, but I like doing it for pleasure. So I am an international speaker. I have a lot of my own products. I was at that very first seminar. One of the things that impressed me the most was that most of those speakers had their own products. Years later, I would hear Alex Dode say that if you're just an affiliate marketer, if you're just selling other people's products and particularly engaged in the launches, he says, you're just battling for crumbs. He says, you're like a little mouse struggling for crumbs. He says, you're battling it out with all these other affiliates. He says, why do that when you can sell your own product and have all the affiliates giving you traffic and sales, and you getting the lion's share of it, and letting them build your list and build you up? And that made a lot of sense. And so I did go out and build a whole bunch of my own products. Even back in 2003, I private labeled a version of the One Shopping Cart system. They basically back then would let anybody for about 10 grand private label the system, which meant that instead of getting the 15 to 30% commission that most affiliates were getting, you got 50%, but you could go out and recruit your own affiliates and you pay them out of your 50%. So basically, One Shopping Cart manages the platform, and I put my name on it, which is profitautomation.com. Okay, and so that was my first major move, putting myself on the world stage. I said, I'm going to have my own shopping cart system. So I private labeled One Shopping Cart. I've had print books like my cookbook and my biography and a lot of other print books, and I've done dozens upon dozens upon dozens of ebooks. I've done DVDs, courses. I've done live events, of course. I now have my own mobile apps business, so I sell mobile apps to business owners primarily. I run numerous membership sites. That is my very favorite business model, is just membership sites where you build memberships around a common topic, a common theme, and then they come back month after month. They pay you for being a member. If you can build the community out properly, they grow the site, and month after month after month, they're paying you. So imagine a site with just 1,000 members paying you just $20 a month. That's 20 grand a month for people to come and sit on a discussion board and consume your content. Extremely, extremely powerful, especially if you can get them coming back month after month. And then I have a membership site, which, my top membership site is $1,000 a month. So I don't need a lot of members. Just 20 members would be that same $20,000. I don't have to deal with 20 people. And it's all about delivering the value to them. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you consider membership sites. I do mentoring, I do coaching, I do consulting. Mentoring I do in more of a group setting now, except for when I train joint venture brokers. The coaching is mostly my clients who need help with product launches, and the consulting is mostly small local business owners who need to understand how to better leverage the power of the internet. So they hire me for about 50 grand a year, and I consult with them and help them to grow their businesses. Many are already at $1 million, and they want to double it, triple it, quadruple it. And so I show them that they're not bringing in the customers from the yellow pages, from the newspaper, from the billboards, from the radio and television ads, that all their customers are on the internet now, and how to get those customers from social media and from SEO and from lead capture pages and things like that. So I teach them to use the internet. And of course, I'm a joint venture broker, and I run the site Joint Venture PhD, which is a place where I train and certify joint venture brokers. And we'll talk more about that as I get into the presentation. I'm a super affiliate. I've been building a list since 1996. The first thing I read when I came online was you need to build a list. I heard the money is in the list. You build a list, you follow it with them, you sell them things. And so since 1996 and the 16 years since then, I've built a database of 1.6 million subscribers across numerous lists. That's not internet marketing only. That's, cooking, that's martial arts, that's law of attraction, that's weight loss, that's pets. It's all kinds of niches, but I have a database of 1.6 million people, which gives you a lot of leverage. So you need to start building a list right from the start, and don't make any excuses. Just start building a list. Build multiple lists, but focus on one at a time. I'm a contributing editor of social media magazines. They have 4 versions right now, one for LinkedIn, one for Facebook, one for Twitter, and one for Google. And to combine, they have a 14.8 million circulation. So when I contribute an article, or if I can get a 4 or 5 page spread, I'm in front of potentially 14.8 million readers who read my stuff, learn that I know what I'm talking about, learn to trust me, and then they click through and they visit my site, and that's a steady source of customers. So many of you who are internet marketers, you have been taught article marketing is the way to get noticed. You put content out there for people to discover in the search engine. They read your article, they get down to the resource box, click the link, and they go to your site, and they buy your product or they join your list. Well, I'm doing the same thing on a grander scale. So don't just think e-zines, online e-zines, think physical magazines too. The social media mags are actually both print and virtual versions. I show my subscribers how to get a free subscription to all 4 versions of the online version. If they want the offline version, that'll cost a few dollars because it has to be physically printed. And I use print-on-demand technology to get that to them. I brokered my first joint venture in 2004, and let me tell you that story real quick. I was on the popular Internet Marketing Warrior discussion forum, and a young man by the name of John Evans reached out to me and said, "Do you have time to read an ebook I'm working on?" And I said, "I'm busy, but yeah." And so he sent it to me, and I was a moderator. Oh, no, I hadn't become a moderator on that forum yet. Between 2005 and 2009, I was a moderator on that forum, which back when I first joined was about 30,000 members, and it has since grown to 500,000 members. So huge forum. It's called the Internet Marketing Warriors Forum. And John reached out to me and said, "Can you look at this manuscript and tell me if it has any potential?" And what he had an ebook where he'd interviewed people making from $200,000 to, I believe it was $6 million a year, selling things over the internet. And I read this book and I'm like, wow. And he was actually looking for investment partners for a project. And he was reading all these newspaper stories and watching television interviews about these people who were making all this money from selling things as strange as black sock subscriptions. People who every month got new pairs of socks in the mail and instructions on which pair to throw away, and selling magic supplies and all kinds of stuff, membership sites. And so John's ebook was called Success Alert. And I read that and I'm like, wow, this is good. I said, "What do you plan on doing with that?" He said, "Well, I'd like to get some Warrior members to promote it for me, but nobody really knows me here on the forum." He said, "You think you could do some introductions?" He says, "I don't mind paying you." And with that, I had also been reading a course that a young man named Jason Cox had written on how to do joint ventures. And Jason basically taught you to take your product, write a cover letter, and put all the swipe files and everything on a disk, and mail it to people via FedEx. So you got around the gatekeepers. You didn't have to worry about the email, the spam filters and all that, or them returning your phone call. You just sent them a FedEx package. But he gave a very specific step-by-step process for doing this. And so I read that Jason's manuscript, which he had asked me to help promote. And I thought, well, let me test this out before I dare promote his course. And so I tested John Evans' I tested Jason's teachings with John Evans' product, but before I did the mailing, I contacted Alan Says, who runs the Warrior Forum, and asked Alan, I said, can I get you to take a look at this ebook? And I think you'll do really, really, really well with this. And Alan said, I don't promote a lot of stuff to my list. There's just so much garbage out there. And I said, I've read it. I love it. I'm going to promote it. And I talked him into it. And I said, look, I'll even let you be the first one to promote for like a week or so. I won't even let anyone else promote until you do. And Alan agreed to do that. And so Alan promoted first. He got 50% commission. I got 10% as a joint venture broker. I promoted, made a bunch of my own sales. And once Alan had promoted, and I have statistics that showed that the sales letter converted like crazy. Very, very well written, professional copywriting sales letter. Then I could go to lots of other people on the Warrior Forum in particular and say, look, Alan promoted this. Alan made X number of thousands of dollars on his first day and his second mailing or whatever. And, this thing sells like crazy. Here's a review copy. I've already signed you up. All you need to do is log in and confirm your PayPal or your preferred payment method and your address, and we're good to go. And you can change it. I actually set them up where I went into the software, the one shopping cart system, or the profitautomation.com system, which is what I set my client, John Evans, up on. And I actually signed each of these people up using one of my own email addresses. And then after I signed them up and I'd received the welcome email, then I went in and changed it to their actual email address. So they weren't getting the email out of the blue that said, thank you for registering my affiliate program. They were signed up, didn't get any emails until they agreed to become an affiliate. But they did get that package from me that gave them all their data. And when they logged in, they were already registered. All they had to do was confirm their payment details and change their password if they wanted to. It didn't matter because I was the only one who had it and I wasn't tracking it. So I mailed a whole bunch of these FedEx boxes, and over the course of about a month and a half, I made like 30 grand. And I thought, I like this joint venturing stuff. I'm like, wow, I've made as much in a month as many people make in a year. And so that's how I got introduced to joint venture brokering. That was back in 2004, and I haven't really looked back since then. 2011, on the Winner's Circle Mastermind Cruise, I was voted Joint Venture Broker of the Year for that group. And that group is mostly, well, it's almost all multimillionaires or billionaires, CEOs, real estate investors, people who are industry leaders who go out and network and do joint ventures between each other. And my job within the group is actually to set up joint ventures between group members. And I get paid for that handsomely. So this is a picture of the award they gave me. Nice crystal award. Didn't really photograph that well there. And there's the seal I got. And my clients, when I'm a joint venture broker, current clients include people like Ted Thomas, who's America's leading tax lien authority, who teaches these huge seminars where he likes to let his students borrow or use some of his millions of dollars to actually invest in tax lien certificates and split the profits with them. Roger Salam, who's the founder of the Winner's Circle, Harlan Kilstein, one of the best-known copywriters in the world, Maria Godelis, who has run Warrior special offers that have done multiple six figures, Jason Flatlin, who, when I first met him, actually was a ghostwriter who did copywriting for me and later on became a force to reckon with, a very, very capable copywriter and product creator. Zena Trainer, who has a patented exercise program that quite literally can let a person drop a couple pounds in minutes by oxygenating the system in a certain way and doing some exercises. Russell Descourt, who is a master at local offline and who has been doing this for a long, long, long time and has some really, really, really great courses on it that just teach what he does. And his courses are very affordable, which is another thing I like about him. So that's another one of my clients. Steve Odette has a product called Rapid Residual Pro, which is a membership site platform that I absolutely positively love. In fact, after I looked at RRP, I moved all the existing membership sites I had over to Rapid Residual Pro. That's how impressed I was with that. So what you can see from that list is I don't take on clients actually anymore that aren't people who I actually use their product. Zenos, for example, was my coach. She taught me some fitness stuff. And I used Steve's product first, and I've tested Russell's stuff. So, but these are my clients. These are all well-known people, and what it's basically showing you is that I have a clue what I'm talking about when I talk joint ventures, lining up joint venture partners, getting them to follow through. This picture, the guy in the center of that photograph there is Jim Straw, who had done about $150 million in sales before I'd even heard of him. Jim's a legend in direct response marketing. And then Ted Thomas is on the right. Ted is the guy, America's leading tax lien authority, who right now is running infomercials across the country on how to buy and sell tax lien certificates and make a small fortune. You can make up to 50% interest on your money in tax lien certificates because it's just one of the most powerful, safest investments in the world. And so Ted's one of my clients. What I do is I line up webinars with online marketers to promote a version of his course. And also I help to promote some of his live events. So another client. I do a lot of networking on cruises. I went on a cruise December of 2000. I've been on the Marketers Cruise, this one 5 out of the last 6 years, but in December of 2011, I was on that Mastermind Cruise, the CEO Mastermind Cruise. And a month later, I was on the Marketers Cruise. So that's how much I spend out networking, meeting people, and what I'm really doing is setting up joint ventures. I'm meeting potential joint venture partners. This is a picture from that CEO Mastermind group where these are guys, these are all award winners. And you may recognize that. Bill Walsh is, I think, and Bill Walsh is the only internet marketer I see in the group. Joel Bauer is close to the center there. He's a speaker trainer who's trained people like Hart Eckert and, some of the biggest names in the speaking business. Kevin Trudeau is one of the students. Yet Joel is one of my good friends that I mastermind with. There's scientists, there's a couple of Russians there who are the world's #2 feng shui expert. People doing some amazing medical breakthrough stuff were in this group, and a couple of billionaires hanging out in the picture there too. And I got to network with these people. So these are the people that I reach out to and try to set up joint ventures with. So I do play at a very high level, but I work with people at all different levels. I teach people what works. And I certify joint venture brokers. I used to put them through an intensive 40 hours of intensive classroom training, 40 hours in 1 week, 5 days, 8 hours a day, and then I follow up with them for up to a year. Now that training is more a home study course where I put them through they watch the video of the training I did in the classroom, and then we spend a year with me working with them hand in hand. I don't host the live events so much anymore. And my whole point is that I'm qualified. I've been in internet marketing for 16 years, and I've been using joint ventures for most of that time. So let's get into joint ventures and what you really care about, which is how you can use them. So the first thing you need to define is, what is a joint venture? Most internet marketers, when they think joint ventures and they say joint ventures, what they're really meaning is, I've got a product I'm trying to sell, and I want you to help me to sell it. So when they say, will you be my joint venture partner, what they're really saying is, will you be my affiliate? And we're going to approach a lot of the training today from that perspective of, if you're looking to do more joint ventures, you're probably looking for more people who help to sell your product. But joint ventures can be a lot more than that. They can be jointly creating and launching products. So you may not have all the assets or resources you need to create or to launch a product. So you just partner with other people. That can be a joint venture. It could be leveraging your underutilized assets. Maybe you've got spare server space, or in the offline world, extra office space or extra capacity with vehicles or anything, accounting, copywriting, programming. You've got some skill, some talent, some asset that you're paying for, and you're not getting the maximum value out of. And so maybe you are in the offline world, maybe you run a wedding planning business. You could joint venture with a florist and maybe a wedding chapel and maybe a limo service where all three of you send each other referrals. And what you do is you offer a package where when somebody comes in looking to get married, they're referred to the jeweler who maybe offers a slight discount, and the limo driver who's going to give them rides back and forth, maybe the photographer, maybe a florist, and you work together. And instead of any one business out there struggling, trying to find, clients onesie, twosies, now you got 3 or 4 businesses all, when they get a client, funneling to other people who cross-promote each other. That's a joint venture that I'm talking about there. And the real estate industry has long done this. I mean, when you go and you buy a house, you refer to a fence builder and a pool installer and a lawn maintenance person and 100 other people who can do things for your new home. And those people refer people to the realtors often. So that's not a new concept. The whole thing about joint ventures is when you work together, you get a lot more done. One of the mottos of the Winner Circle, that group I showed you that we did, the mastermind group in December, is none of us is as smart as all of us. It's about, I can't do it by myself. I need to work with you, and I need to not be so arrogant. I think I know it all. And once you embrace that philosophy, things just fall in place. I talked about being, a farm kid, a tobacco farmer, but I get to, hobnob and rub elbows with and get approached by, pursued by some of the most successful people in the world because of my willingness to work with them and to put their best interests first. I'm all about also developing fewer, deeper, real relationships. It's a big and very real danger in the internet marketing space and in a lot of spaces to try to have as many JV partners as possible. But the reality is that you don't need a huge number of partners. What you need is partners who follow through, which is part of what I said I'd cover in this discussion. But I can't tell you the number of launches I've watched where they had over 1,000 JV partners on board and probably fewer than 20 really promoted hard. And a lot of the others never even emailed or whatever. So it's not about a huge number of joint venture partners. This is about real relationships, people who are going to follow through, people who feel like they are a full partner with you. I've watched launches where the top 3 to 5 affiliates often made 30% of the total sales, which it sounds incredible, but I looked at projects where I looked at the total number of sales, and the top 3 people maybe made 30% of that total number of sales in a product launch. So it's, again, about finding the right joint venture partners. Now let's look at landing more joint venture partners. The first thing you have to realize is that it's not about you. I had to take a drink of water. You need to make it all about the other person. When your potential joint venture partners are being approached by you, or they're approaching you about, let's do something together, they're wondering, how can I get something out of this deal? What's in it for me? And you're thinking the same thing, but you need to flip the table and say, how can I help this other person to benefit? Because when you really, 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 really focus on helping the other person to benefit, the law of reciprocity makes them want to help you to benefit. And because it's not then a battle of wits, trying to outsmart the other person, you actually help them. And because you actually help them, they help you. And the deal like this falls in place. So make it all about the other person, because it sounds rude or mean, but they don't really care about you and your product and your dream and your aspirations. They care about, how can I make what I'm working on? How can I make what I've built, worked over the past year or two to try to build as a product or whatever? How can I make that work and get it launched and out into the marketplace? That's what they're really focused on, is themselves. Most people are focused on themselves. So if you just put yourself on the back burner or in the background for just a short while and focus on them, you'll become so effective that it's just mind-boggling. I mean, the reason that I get to mastermind and network with billionaires is because I approach them not from, gee, you're rich, why don't you give me a handout or help me up, endorse me, somehow help me, you owe it to me because you've got yours. I don't say that to them at all. I say, here are the things I can do for you, or how can I help you? And I learn about their concerns. I learn about things they care about, and I honestly figure out how I can help them. And that's why I have such access to such powerful people. It's because they know I sincerely want to help them. I'm not about trying to get as much as I can out of them. I do want to profit from the relationship, but I'm really about helping them. And because of that, they help me massively. See, the thing is, if you need them more than they need you, they already know that. So when you have a product you want to launch and you're approaching a large list owner, that list owner has the most valuable part of the relationship. They have the large list. They know you need access to their list. So you're not tricking them by pretending you don't. So be upfront and offer them, in most instances, the lion's share of the profits to get to play with them, to kickstart your venture. They know that you need them more than they need you. It's no secret to them. So you're only deceiving yourself if you try to pretend that it's otherwise. You need to make your potential joint venture partners feel special, like you really want them as a joint venture partner. I've watched a number of people make it feel like it's a privilege to be an affiliate on a given launch, and that can work for you, but it can backfire. somebody like me, if you come to me and say, Willie, you really need to join this launch because, and you rattle off a list of 50 other, you rattle off a list of the 25 top affiliates in a given industry and say, these guys are already on board, so you really need to be on board too. I'm going to think, why do I want to compete against all those guys, many of whom have the exact same subscribers on their list, especially in net marketing? Why would I compete head to head with those people? So you're not making me feel special by telling me you need to get in because they're in. You need to tell me you want me in because you need my help. You need me. I need to feel needed. We all need to feel needed. And it needs to be about me and the fact that you really want me. Now, I watched Jeff Walker, the creator of Product Launch Formula. He did a launch once where he required affiliates to apply to become affiliates, but he was paying, I think, $1,000 commission, and he already had, on the back of a previous successful launch, all these customers he could turn into affiliates. So it was a privilege for him to reach to outsiders who weren't already affiliates and let them become an affiliate. But that's a very rare thing, in my opinion. So making it, making them apply to become an affiliate as if they're doing you a favor can backfire on you. It can work at times too, but you have to really, really have something that the world wants and that lots of people want to become an affiliate for. So just some food for thought there. When you are approaching a potential joint venture partner, you need to come to the table with something that they want. I've had people approach me who've gone out and bought a license or a set of resale rights and said, let's joint venture on this and you can mail to your list and I'll give you 50% commission. My first thought is, you just told me you bought a resale rights package to a product that was actually probably out of date in the first place, but if it wasn't, what stops me from just going and buying the package and keeping all the money from the sales I make? Come to me with an original product, something that's fresh, something that not everybody's brother can just go out and buy on their own. There's no incentive there. You haven't really brought anything to the table. So you need to come to the table with something that your potential joint venture partners want. Now, the first thing that they want is a quality product that takes care of their customers and that makes them feel good. They're thinking, if I promote your product to my customers, how are my customers going to feel about me having told them about that product a year from now? So they want to know that it's a really, really good product that they feel when they recommend it, they're operating in integrity, that they're not, shafting people or screwing them over, that they're actually taking care of their customers. They really want to take care of their customers. And so you need to only approach your joint venture partners with quality products, which means you need to focus on creating real quality stuff that works. When I look at a product, even as a joint venture broker, I don't go to my JV partners with the product unless I know that I would feel good selling that product to my grandmother, that it works that well, it's that easy to use, it's that much of a value, it's something that I feel the world needs. And that's a personal thing, but it's one of my criteria. Would I feel good selling this to my own grandmother? And I encourage you to look at products that you're thinking about promoting the same way. And if you don't feel good at all about any product, don't promote it. There's too many other products out there that are really good products that do meet that criteria. The other thing is potential joint venture partners want reciprocity. Remember, I told you, put the other person first. You're putting the other person first because you expect them to reciprocate. So if you approach a large list owner, a lot of them are thinking, well, I'm putting my launch of some product I have on the back burner to promote your product. So can you promote mine down the road? And the answer should be yes, provided your product is a high enough quality product. So they're looking for reciprocity, and you need to expect to deliver reciprocity. You need to be able to do a reciprocal mailing or to at least endorse their product, give them a testimonial, give them a video endorsement. They may want to just leverage your name to be able to say that you have looked at and liked and said these things about the product. If you've got a big name, leveraging your name is huge, or leveraging your knowledge by making you a part of the product. Now, I'll touch on that some more. I think it's in my next slide. But I knew that some of you were going to have this objection. But Willie, I can't I can't reciprocate. I have to take a drink. I can't reciprocate because I have no list. And the answer there is build one. Build one fast. You are in business and you're competing against a lot of other people who do have lists. And so you can sit around and whine for days, weeks, months, years, and never have a list. In 5 years from now, say, but I don't have a list, so I can't compete. Or you can build one. Start building one today and build it fast as you can. And so here are some ways you can do that. There are list building services out there where you pay them, anywhere from a quarter to a couple of dollars per subscriber. They display your opt-in form on their network of sites often. And when people join, you're building a list. They're putting your name, your publication, your free gift or whatever out there, and they're getting you sign-ups. And that is one of the best ways to spend your advertising dollars I can think of. You could also just use your Twitter profile and offer your new Twitter followers some gift. So as soon as they join and you notice, you say, thanks for following me, and you send them a link saying, here's a gift. Here's what I do. What do you do? And here's a gift that shows what I do. I like to give to all my new friends or whatever. Push them to a squeeze page, build a list. If they don't download your gift, they're not interested in what you're talking about. They're not interested in your topic. And you're interested in building a Twitter following or any social media following that's interested in what you do anyway. I do a lot of list building giveaways, and a list building giveaway is where a bunch of people team up in a joint venture effort. They all drive traffic to one central site where they can read about a whole bunch of different gifts that they can choose from. But to get any of those gifts, they have to click on a link, visit the contributor site, and join their mailing list. The biggest one I've done in the last 6 months got about 50,000 members. All the different JV partners pushed about 50,000 signups through the site, and those people picked and chose which products they wanted to download and which list they wanted to join. That was the biggest one I've been in. There's lots of others that are smaller, and they're in all kinds of niches. I mean, everything from pets and fitness to, they're very common in internet marketing. They're fairly common now in personal development, things like that. But you can join these, and as long as you play full out, as long as you help to promote the event by spreading the word on social media and email and however, then you're pushing traffic to the site. And because they're usually structured so that whoever sends the most traffic to the main site, they get their gift listed at the top. So the one who does the most effort and helps the giveaway the most gets noticed first. Because say there's 300 partners, well, the number 300 partner is going to be on page 20, buried deep in this list of free gifts, as it should be, because the one who sends the most traffic and is working the hardest at promoting it is going to get the most benefit. So it's designed to prevent shirking. So I like free giveaways. I like doing a free mini launch where you create a very simple product, an ebook, an audio interview, a piece of software, and you offer it on through your own mini launch, where you may want to give affiliates 100% commission, because what you're really doing is paying them to send you subscribers. But if you let them sell a product and keep all the money, they're building you a list of proven buyers, which is better than a list of just freebie seekers or people who are just checking something out. They're just curiosity seekers. So you want a list of buyers. So you can run like what's called a Warrior Special Offer if you are a member of the Warrior Forum, and just give away 100% commission on some very simple ebook that explains some new phenomenon and how to take advantage of it. And it's possible to build a list of 3,000 to 5,000 in like a month, or in a couple of weeks if you do it properly. You can join groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, and where it's permitted, share links to your resources, and those links can be to your opt-in page. I do that on both Facebook and LinkedIn very successfully, and so again, I'm constantly building lists, building new lists, and that's how my business, one of the ways my business grows massively. Once you build these lists and you've now got something that you can give you a little leverage, and you're getting more joint venture partners, you still need to get the JV partners to follow through. Remember, I said that often 3 to 5% will do like 30% of your sales. Often 90% will do like no sales at all. I mean, most won't even mail, and they may stick a link on their blog, they may mention it on a tweet or something, but most sign up, they overcommit, they overpromise, they jump on everything that looks like it might make them some money, and in the end, they end up doing nothing. And so you want to know, how do I get my joint venture partners to actually promote? I've got 1,000 people who signed up, but I've only got 10 who've made sales. Well, I actually believe that you need to focus on that 10 that are making the sales. But to get them to follow through, you need to make them feel invested in a product, like it's their product. Like when this launch is successful, it's not just your success. They're not just making you money, they're making them money in the short term and the long term. And one way to do that is to make them a part of the product. So you could invite experts in that industry to do interviews that are offered as bonuses for your product. And what you're doing there is you're positioning them as experts in the industry too. And those bonuses, say the interviews or ebooks or whatever, could include links back to their site. So in the long term, you're sending them traffic, people who've already spent money on a topic, and you're now sending them to your JV partners. You could have on your download page or inside your membership site or inside your ebooks recommendations for additional resources that are necessary to do what you're teaching, or make it easier. And those recommended resources could be the resources offered by your joint venture partner. So you approach other people in your industry who have tools and knowledge and courses or whatever that make it easier to do what you're teaching, and you ask them to promote your product and tell them in exchange, one of the things you'll consider doing is making their product a recommended resource. What you're basically doing is you want to make your joint venture partner feel like a real team member, because then they feel invested in the product. They want to see the product launch to success. You may want to offer select joint venture partners a higher than normal commission. You don't need to advertise that. You just, if you're using the right software to power your affiliate program, you can set custom commissions for any affiliate. So you reach out to somebody that you don't think you'd get on board otherwise. You say, instead of giving you 40 or 50%, I'll give you 60% or 75% or 90%, because you know maybe that if all the other affiliates in that space see that X is on board, then that they'll all jump on board, because often that person may be a thought leader you're going after. And so when you get, say, Mike Fulsame or John Reese on board, all of his buddies will notice, and they'll say, wow, what's John promoting? Why is he promoting this? And they'll take notice, and they'll come on board. And so you could offer him the higher commission, but not even mention it to anyone else. Faster commission payouts will bring more affiliates on board, because very often in today's economy, people need the money now. They don't want to wait 30 days or after some refund period is over with to get paid. They need the money now to make a car payment, to make a house payment, to pay their child's college tuition. And so if you have a program set up where it pays even instant commissions, then you're going to motivate a lot of people. You're going to, especially a lot of the smaller players who really, really need the cash flow now. Okay. You also need impeccable customer service, and that's one that's always or often a challenge, and it's because it's dealing with people who buy a product and maybe the system automatically sends them an email to download the product, and their email client blocks it with a spam filter or something. Or they don't even give you the right email address. They misspell their email address. They won't give you their phone number. They hide their identity, and yet they're yelling and screaming, I didn't get my purchase or whatever. So customer service is one of those things that can be the downfall of a lot of businesses. And you need to have impeccable customer service at the same time. The reason is because, one, it's your reputation, but two, your joint venture partners are basically handing you their customers. They're expecting you to take care of their customers. And as soon as they start getting reports that your customer service is horrible, they won't promote you ever again. And so you need to take care of their customers, realizing that when they endorse you, they put their reputation on the line. They put their relationship with their customers, their subscribers, on the line. And you need to take very, very, very good care of their customers. So you need to have a help desk set up, and then you need to have, someone assigned to monitor that help desk and respond to support tickets right away, and just take really, really, really good care of your customers, of your JV partners' customers. And then you need to focus on one launch at a time. Internet marketers are notorious for promoting a new product every single day, but you need to somehow get your JV partners, as you're launching, to just focus on promoting your product for days or even weeks or even months. And the way you do that is by showing them that you're not focused on 100 different products, that you so believe in your product that all you're promoting during a certain time frame is your product. Yeah, you owe certain people maybe reciprocity, so at some point you may want to go back and promote their products, but you need to show that you're focused on one thing. See, when you promote multiple products in the same week or in the same, too close together, it comes across your subscribers as this person will sell me anything. That they just want to see what they're going to throw product after product after product after me and see what I'll buy. They're desperate for a sale, and they don't really give me a chance to even use what I just bought. So they don't really care about me. But if you focus on just one product, and email after email after email, you give them content, but you also give them a recommendation for that one product over and over and over again, then they see that you believe in it. So whether it's your product or whether it's an affiliate product, you need to focus on one launch at a time. And I know this is difficult for some people to do, but it'll get you 10 times the sales. And the thing is, see, there's the difference between a mega successful launch and a failed launch is so narrow. I mean, sometimes it's just a few additional sales to give you the money to spend more maybe on advertising or to hire a better copywriter to improve your copy or to do a few more things that now builds momentum in your launch. And it is really all about momentum. Momentum is everything. I've seen so many product launches where the product owner just could not get enough joint venture partners to start promoting. They could get a lot of people signed up at times because people would respond just to the nagging, but they couldn't get them started promoting. The momentum is everything. When all the other people in a space, in an industry, in a niche, notice a certain product being talked about, then all the customers become curious. Why are all these people talking about this product? And they'll go check it out. But all the affiliates who are not promoting that product will think, well, why is everybody promoting this product? It must be converting. It must be a great product. How have I missed this? What am I missing? And they'll go check it out and they'll want to become an affiliate. So momentum is everything. You need to build momentum and you need to focus on that. Okay. As a product owner, or as a JV partner, you want to make sure the launch is structured so that it has to succeed. And to me, one of the biggest downfalls I see in a lot of launches is in the copy. The copywriting, the sales page, the emails need to be flawless, which means for most people that they, as a product creator, don't need to write this copy themselves. If they're not professional copywriters who totally understand the psychology and the flow and how to write a sales letter, yeah, you may know the product better than anyone on the world, on the planet, but if you're on a copywriter, it's going to flop. So you hire a professional copywriter. There are some very reasonable price professional copywriters out there, and so you just look for them. And you find somebody who's produced copy that converts, because otherwise you're not going to make any sales. That's just it. I mean, a few people will buy who know and like and trust you, but others pushing cold traffic to your website, they'll read the web page and they'll think, this doesn't excite me. This doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with the copy, but it's not working for me, and they won't buy. The copy also has to be believable, okay? And with recent crackdowns by the Federal Trade Commission, it needs to, meet certain guidelines. It needs to make promises that are legitimate promises. You have to watch the income claims you make. I'm not giving any legal advice here. I'm saying your copy needs to is ethical and honest, and it needs to take care of the consumer. The Federal Trade Commission, one of their jobs is to look out for the best interest of the consumer. So they're looking very closely at your websites, at your web copy, and they're going after people who mislead the consumer. So your copy needs to be flawless, okay, and believable and honest. And your timing needs to be perfect. You cannot launch a product the night of the Super Bowl and expect a lot of people to read your email. Or you can't roll it out over, say, a holiday weekend where you have maybe a 3-day, very time-limited launch, and most people aren't even going to read your emails until after the launch is over with. So you need to make sure your timing is right. It also needs to be something that the market wants. It's, to me, very heartbreaking when somebody comes to me with a product they've spent a year creating, and they just absolutely positively love it. They're willing to pay my fees to get me to help them promote it. But I look at the product and I say, how do you know that the market wants this? What makes you think the market wants this? And they describe what they love about the product. It's like, yes, but what out there tells you other people are looking for this solution? What out there tells you other people want this product? And the thing is, if you're selling something that people want, they'll buy it. If you're selling something that people don't want or don't know what it is, don't know why they need it, now you have this protracted process of educating them. You need to teach them, educate them as to what it is and why they need it and what it does and why it costs what it costs. And it's just it could take weeks, months, years to educate them as to why they need your solution. And that's an uphill battle that I personally choose not to fight. So if somebody comes to me with a product and I don't instantly get it, if I don't instantly see that the market is already looking for and will love this product, then I'll decline promoting it or becoming a joint venture broker for it, because it's an uphill battle, and it's much easier for me and for my JV partners and the affiliates I approach to sell products that the market already wants. Okay, so make it, instead of creating something brand new. If you're thinking of creating a product, create an improvement to an existing product that's already selling like crazy. Improve on that product and then roll it out. Also, you need to get your joint venture partners on board early. I told you I go on the marketers cruise every January. That cruise last year was with 400 or so internet marketers mostly, but people in all kinds of spaces. There was America's leading allergist was on board, for example. There's some fitness experts. There's relationship experts. And they're all planning on product launches. But what they're doing is also they're networking. They're reaching out to people who might be good joint venture partners early. So I talked to one German software developer who's planning on launching some software in November, and they're talking to me in January about being a joint venture broker for them, and also about, as early as September or October, getting some joint venture partners actually looking at their product. Now, this is a higher end product that they hope to make, $5 to $10 million from on the first initial launch. But the thing is, some of these large list owners have already made commitments 3, 4, 5, 6 months out. So the earlier you can get their attention and get a soft commitment from them, just all you really want is them to say, yes, I'll consider promoting your product when it's ready, or I penciled it in. Now you can go back and you can firm up that soft commitment. You can use a clause like, well, you told me you could fit this in. Not you promised you promote it, but you told me you could fit this in, and so you turn that soft yes into a hard yes. But you do that, you get on their schedule as early as possible, because if it's full and they've already made commitments to other people, they're not going to usually push another product off their schedule to promote yours. So you lose out by dragging your feet and not recruiting joint venture partners as early as possible. And I say recruit like crazy at seminars. You see, I mentioned I go to a lot of live events, and I go on these cruises and things like that. And I go to networking meetings and meetups and things like that. All of these are for networking and meeting people, and I'm doing recruiting. I'm meeting people, looking them in the eye, getting a feel for who they are, letting them see who I am by sharing pictures of my grandkids and just talking about my things, causes I'm passionate about, things like that. So they know me. They get to like and trust me as a person, a genuine person. And now it's easy for me to reach out to them and get them on board as a joint venture partner. One of my favorite relationship and follow-up tools is called Send Out Cards, and I didn't put a slide in here that shows the website, but if you go to thecardthingy.com, that's thecardthingy.com, you can get an account there. And what Send Out Cards does is it lets you send real full-color physical greeting cards right over the internet, and they cost me about $1.50 each to send. And so what I do is, when I'm at a seminar or conference, I'm collecting everybody's business card, and I'm giving out my business card. And I have a very unique business card. It looks like a folded $100 bill, so people don't throw those away. They put them on their refrigerators and stuff like that, or they hang on to them. It's a great novelty, but it also helps them to remember me. But I take their cards and I take them back home and add them to my contact manager. But I also take a digital photo with them. And I take that digital photo, I upload it to my computer, and I put it in a folder that's labeled for where I met this person. And I use those pictures a lot in social media and things like that. But I often in my hotel room at night, or as soon as I get back home, I go through my business cards and I pull the addresses off and I look for a picture that I took with that person, and I send a card to them saying, "It was nice meeting you. Let's follow up." And if I remember what I talked to them about, and I often make notes on the back of the cards, then I'll mention what we discussed at that seminar. And the thing is that probably 95% of people who attend any of these events go back home, have every intention of following up, and they're all excited, and the excitement wears off, and they go back to life as it was before the event, and they don't follow up, and they've just wasted their weekend and their money. I follow up, and a couple of days later, these people get a real live, full-color greeting card in the mail with their picture, along with me often, on the front of it, and then a message inside that says, "Let's follow up," and a reminder of what we did. So, and when I send this card using the send out card system, which again you can find at thecardthingy.com, and I am repeating that because I want you to use the system. But when they get that card, I've added them to a contact manager. It's an online secure database where I can add birthdays, birth dates, and anniversary dates, and names of their spouses and their kids. And then the system sends me a reminder a week before or whatever it is, reminding me this person has a birthday coming up. And the system lets me sort these people into groups. So I can have my Boy Scout group, and my church group, and people I met at a certain seminar. And so I know how to follow up with them. And the beauty of that is I can send a broadcast card that's sort of like an autoresponder. So I can compose one card. Maybe I took a picture of the Marketer's Cruise and I got 200 people's contact information. I could add all 200 to a group, and I could use the picture that I showed earlier on the deck of the Marketer's Cruise ship. And I could send all 200 people, if I had their addresses, one card where as I'm writing the card, I put placeholders inside the card, and it says, it was really great hanging out with you on the Marketer's Cruise. I hope you can make it to my next speaking event. I can give them a link to that event to register, or I look forward to next year's cruise, or I'm having a party, or I'm doing my own product launch. Can I get you to go take a look, and a link to that page? And that works beautifully for me. The same send out card system I often use to send gifts. The system lets you add like food gifts, books, posters, all kinds of little things. And I often send gourmet brownies to potential joint venture partners. So they'll get a package in the mail that'll be like, 4 to 10 brownies, individually wrapped, really, really nice, moist gourmet brownies. And then as they're reading this card and they're eating this really, really, really good brownie, I say, it was nice meeting you on the cruise, and we discussed you helping me with my launch. Well, I'm getting ready to launch now. Can you go take a look and go ahead and sign up? And that's all I need to say on the card. They look at the picture. They remember the warm feeling of the Caribbean sun or whatever it was, and meeting me and hanging out together and all the fun stuff we did on the cruise or at some seminar. And they remember me because I'm genuine. I'm a real person that they know. So they're going to go check it out. And that's how I get a lot of joint venture partners on board. So again, I can't recommend sending out cards enough. Okay. As I'm getting ready to do a product launch for myself or my client, I compile what I call my Dream 100, which is if I could get anybody in the world to promote my product, who would be the top 100 people I would want on board? And when I do that, I don't roll anyone out. So anybody in that niche, anybody in that space that I could get promoted, if I could, who would I want? I make a list, and then I actually start reaching out to those people. I track down their contact information. I may use betterwhois.com to enter their website URL and find out their physical mailing address from that or something, but I'll track them down. And I have a huge database now of potential JV partners in many spaces, but it's your job to track them down, those 100 people that are ideal joint venture partners who are thought leaders who would make or break your launch, or who could save a struggling launch. And so make that list of your Dream 100 and then start reaching out to them and just work it really hard. A trick I learned from my friend Yannick Silver many years ago, is Yannick sent me an email that said, I bought you a Christmas present. So I opened the email, that was the subject line, and it had a URL. He purchased a promotional domain that mentioned his copywriting course. And he said, here's a domain I bought for you. You can use it to promote my copywriting course. And it was like, I think, a $1,500 course that paid whatever commission. And so now all I need to do in order to sell Yannick's copywriting course is to say, one of the best copywriters that I know out there is Yannick Silver, which is true. He was writing copy. He was selling $100,000 medical equipment via faxes to doctors as a teenager. His father was selling, incubators or whatever medical equipment, and he asked Yannick to help with sales, and Yannick started writing these sales letters that his dad didn't believe in, and then Yannick started faxing them to doctors, and they started buying this stuff. That's how good Yannick is. So when he comes to me and says, here's my copywriting course, can you help me to sell it? I thought, well, I know this guy knows his stuff, and I actually had a copy of the course too, and so it was a natural, but he made it so easy. He gave me a promotional domain that already had my affiliate link programmed in as a redirect. And so everything was set up. All I had to do, again, was just like I talked about when I worked with John Evans, is I set up my JV partners where all they need to do is log in and make sure their payment information is correct. Everything else is already set up for them. It's so easy. They'd be stupid not to promote. They're leaving money on the table. It's like free money because everything is done for them. And that's the secret to getting joint venture partners to follow through too, is to make it really, really, really easy. Now, as you're looking for joint venture partners, two places I'm going to recommend are actually two groups that I personally created on Facebook. One is called Affiliate Products Proven to Sell, and you'll find it at temic.org/proven, and the P does need to be a capital P because that's a redirect script. But temic.org/proven, that group is called Affiliate Products Proven to Sell. The purpose of that group is for other affiliate marketers and product owners to list products that they have promoted that converted. That's the whole purpose of the group. Anybody can go and apply to join this group, and there's not supposed to be people pitching each other anything. There's supposed to be people sharing, I promoted this product and it converted well, or this is my product I promoted and it converted well, but not you dropping an affiliate link for somebody else's product. That will get you banned from the group. You do have to be approved to join the group, and the group moderators look at your profile. And so if they can't determine that you're a real person, that you're maybe a spammer who create 100 different fake profiles and just join group after group so you can spam them, they want to approve it. So they'll glance at your profile. How long have you been on Facebook? Do you show your real picture? Do you have other friends? Can they tell you're a real person? If they can't, they're not going to approve you because we don't want to garbage up our group. But that's Affiliate Products Proven to Sell, and the purpose of that group is to let you find products that convert. The other one is Big Ticket Affiliate Marketers. You'll find that at temic.org/big ticket. The B and the T do need to be capitalized. That group is for product owners or JV brokers or whoever to list products that are bigger ticket products. Products that sell typically $497, $997, $1997. I listed one that sells at $15,000 and pays a $5,000 commission per sale. And the idea there is, if you're selling say a $27 ebook that pays 100% commission, if you sold 100 copies, you make $2,700. If you're selling a product that is a $2,000 product that pays $1,000 commission, then to make that same $2,700, you basically need to sell 3. So you can sell 1,000 copies, or you can sell 3. And so I know from experience it's easier to sell the 3 copies of the product that sells at $2,000 than it is to sell 1,000 copies of a product that sells at $27 and pays 100% commission. So big ticket products are something I teach all my students to sell because, first of all, they're more complete solutions for your clients. You see, somebody can't sell you a course teaching you how to save the world for $5. I mean, they just can't. So it's an incomplete product. But a $2,000 product is a very, very complete product, usually. And so I focus on bigger ticket products for that reason. And so those are two groups you can find on Facebook. LinkedIn has thousands upon thousands of groups that also you can join and find affiliate partners. And so all you do on LinkedIn is you sign up, you haven't already signed up, and then there's a drop-down menu that has the word groups in it, and from there you can enter keywords and find groups that pertain to your topic. You join the groups. You can join up to 50 groups on LinkedIn, and then you just communicate with them. And you are allowed to share updates on LinkedIn with your groups, and those updates can include links to products you're launching. If you get too bad with it, too aggressive, or the group doesn't like that type of stuff, they'll kick you out. So you need to make sure that what you're planning on doing is appropriate for that group. But you can join up to 50 LinkedIn groups, and these are very serious people. The LinkedIn group members are often the decision makers within a business. They are CEOs, they are higher income people, and so it's a great place to look for joint venture partners. And there are, again, thousands of groups on LinkedIn. There are dozens of groups on Skype. Some are private groups, some are not so private groups, where people go to announce product launches. And I share some of those resources inside some of my private membership sites, but I won't share them in this presentation. But you can ask your friends if they're a member of any Skype group and if they can invite you into that Skype group. And because a lot of times, if it's a closed group, it requires an invite, and then the group owner has to approve you. I also use a site called JV Notify Pro, which was founded by my friend Mike Mers. And Mike is a joint venture broker just like I am. And what he does is he uses his site to announce product launches of his clients and product launches of his members. So the members get an email once a week or once every so many days that says, here's some upcoming launches, guys. Here's all the specifics, the commissions, where to sign up, where to get a review copy, everything about the launch. And depending on what type of membership you have, you can use that site to announce your launches. So it's a very powerful resource. I personally founded a site called the International Association of Joint Venture Brokers, which you'll find at iajbb.org. We're not currently accepting new members. I do expect to be back to where I'm accepting new members within about 2 weeks. So right now we're not accepting new members, but by the time most people see this video, we will be accepting new members. IAJBB is the International Association of Joint Venture Brokers. It's an idea I actually got after listening to my friend Elson Eldridge talk about associations and how you need to join or even found your own professional association to certify people and train people, connect people. And then I was speaking in Singapore about joint ventures, and I had people approaching me about joint ventures to get livestock feed and pharmaceuticals and all kinds of toys into different spaces. And I'm like, I don't do that. I do information products. But it planted a seed in my mind of why not build a site that connects people in numerous, like hundreds of different niches. And so I created a site that's database driven, where whether your interest is politics or religion or, relationships or whatever, my idea was to get, 100,000 or so members in this site, in the database, and then you could join. And when you had a product launch, you could announce it to members in that very specific niche. Depending on your membership, you can do a broadcast out with all the specifics of your launch. And I founded this site back in 2006. I'm revamping the site now. That's why it's not accepting new members. I'm updating the database to where it's more user-friendly, it's more powerful. It displays stuff on a calendar that shows what's coming up months out in your niche. So you can actually use that database to look and say, okay, I'm launching something in the dating or the relationships niche or the dog niche. So what else is happening in that week or that month that I'm planning on launching? You can look out there to see that and deconflict or reach out to those people who are launching and say, do you want to work together? Maybe on the back end, you promote my product, or we launch on the front end, you promote my product and put your launch off because mine will do better, and then I'll promote yours in the back end or something like that. So that's the purpose of IAJBB. Again, not accepting members at this time, but it's a great resource to have in the back of your mind. It's something I founded. Okay. Another way to get joint venture partners is to go through a joint venture broker, which I mentioned I am. The reason joint venture brokers are effective, the reason I'm effective, is that we have the trust of super affiliates. See, the busy list owners, the big list owners, they get approached sometimes dozens of times in a week with people saying, can you look at my software here? Here's a free review copy of my software. Here's my membership site. Here's my ebook. Here's my course. Go watch these 20 videos that show how to do something. Well, they can't possibly review even 10% of the free products they're offered because there's just so much stuff being thrown at them. And so they come to people like me and they say, I don't have the time to look at all this stuff. Show me a product that's a great product, that has a great sales funnel, has a proven sales letter that converts, that works, and bring me one of those products a month maybe that's on this specific topic, and I'll promote it. So they've told me, Willie, my list is interested in list building, or interested in WordPress, or interested in raising children, or interested in travel. I only want products around that niche. Don't bring me anything else. And I'll listen to you as long as you take care of me and make my job easier. That's why joint venture brokers work. Why we're effective is because the super affiliates use us as a filter to make their lives easier. And we've seen enough successful and failed launches to know what works and to spot flaws. So when my clients come to me, I look over everything they have that pertains to a launch, including the flow and all the materials and their product and the delivery process and the credit card processing and the affiliate tracking, all those things. I look at their flow and I can spot flaws because I've studied over the years hundreds of launches and I've seen dozens of big flops. And so I can spot flaws early and save my clients from failure, but I can also spot launches that are likely to fail and not recommend those to JV partners because it's just wasting their time. JV brokers know how to track down and court potential JV partners or affiliates. We often make multiple attempts on multiple channels. If I send an email to super affiliate A and he doesn't respond, I assume, first of all, he probably didn't get the email. So I'm probably going to reach out to him on Facebook and on Skype and maybe on Twitter and maybe via a phone call. And maybe I'm going to send him that greeting card via send out cards, or I'm going to send him a box of brownies, or if the product is suitable, I'll print it out, put it in a binder, and mail it to him in a FedEx package, or whatever it takes to get the attention of my potential joint venture partner, especially the high value ones, the ones that I know can make a lot of sales. If I can just get their attention long enough to get them to look at the product and see it's a great product. That's your greatest struggle as a product owner trying to recruit people, is they're getting so many people yelling and screaming at them, look at this product, it's really great, you're going to make a lot of sales, your customers are going to love it. They hear that all day, every day. And so your challenge is to get them to slow down long enough to take an honest look at your product. And that's what a joint venture broker can do for you, because they are one of those people that a lot of super affiliates have learned to listen to, because they've proven that they operate in integrity and they make the super affiliate's job easier. But again, I often approach them through multiple channels to include networking with them at live events. I often, when I go to a seminar or a conference, will stay up, throughout late in the night, early morning. I'm on the deck of the marketer's cruise, whatever. I pull my laptop out. I show a super affiliate my clients launch for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months down the road. I'm recruiting, all the time. That's what I do as a joint venture broker. I leverage technology. I use the search engines. I use databases that are from various industries, things like that. There are a lot of tools out there I use as a JV broker to help me to find the right people. And I mentioned, the LinkedIn, Facebook, and all these social sites. They all have groups, and they have search tools that let you track down people in those groups. And so what I do and what I teach my students who are JV brokers to do is to do that in a very efficient manner, and then and in a consistent and persistent manner, so that they track down and recruit these people. And a JV broker stacks the deck as a broker. I stack it in my favor. I get paid a percentage commission from your sales. I charge an upfront fee too, but the majority of my pay is from your sales. And so I want a product that's going to be successful. So I do everything I can to stack the deck in favor of that being a successful launch. So I look very hard at everything to do with the launch. And I have seen hundreds of launches, so I can spot flaws. That's what a JV broker does. We leverage connections. And I'm nearing the end of my presentation, I think. This shows some of my connections. I've been at this for like 16 years, as I said. So this is Jeff Walker here on the left, who I met at a seminar back in 2003, actually. Joe Vitale, who was in the movie The Secret. I met Joe maybe 2003-ish too. Carl Gleddy was a speaker at the first seminar I ever attended. And he was a copywriter who was, even back then, writing copy for people like Jay Abraham and Gary Halbert. Some of the greatest copywriters in the world often hire an apprentice or another copywriter to do the copy for them. Then maybe they're charging $100,000 for a sales letter. They'll get an apprentice to do it for them, and then they'll maybe just polish that apprentice's work, or maybe just use it as it's handed in to them because it's that good. Carl was that good, and Carl hosted for about a dozen years the Internet Marketing Super Conference. So a legend in the industry. And there's Dr. Cates, who's another friend of mine. She is a legend and a very, very powerful, very strong marketer. This is Frank Kern and I hanging out. This was at the Playboy Mansion. We were hanging out in Hollywood. So, and this is Jim Straw, who I mentioned already was a direct marketing legend. This is Ted Nicholas. I can remember as a young man in my 20s reading magazine ads that talked about how to incorporate your own business without a lawyer for $50. Ted was running those ads back then. Ted is a gazillionaire who owns houses in Switzerland and in Florida and all over the place. And he jokes with people when he's speaking. He's an excellent copywriter, naturally. But he jokes with people about there's two things you can't ask him. One is, how old is he? Although he's inviting everybody to his 115th birthday party. And how much money he has. And because he won't tell you those things. He said those are none of your business. Had to take another drink. But these are actually, as you can see, friends, personal friends of mine who know me by name and will pick up the phone when I call them because they know, like, and trust me, I've worked with them, interacted with them enough. The thing is, as a joint venture broker, after 16 years, I've probably touched every internet marketer out there, everyone who's actually successful at this. Had to throw this slide in. This shows a mansion where my mastermind group meets every so often. This is in the Dominican Republic, and we actually fly into the local airport, take a private helicopter and fly over here, and then we spend anywhere from 3 to 7 days hanging out in this mansion, masterminding and having all kinds of parties and stuff like that. But that's the level of networking I do to find joint venture partners for my clients. So I find people, some of them have databases in the hundreds of thousands, even millions. And so I work on smaller joint ventures from time to time, but most of the joint ventures I do are very large joint ventures. I'm mostly interested in joint ventures with the potential to do at least $1 million in sales. I'm not really interested in something that's, $100,000 in sales. I often hand those off to students as I'm training the students to let them see what the process involves. But I teach my students even to go for the bigger joint ventures. And so we do hang out in places like this. But everybody has to start someplace. So if you're looking at launching a product and you think it's only going to do $200,000, $300,000 in sales, that doesn't mean you shouldn't still use what I teach or use what the brokers I've trained, but it just means that you need to think bigger too. You need to, as you roll that first product out, think, okay, what is the second, third, and the fourth product, and how do I go from that $27 ebook to a $197 product, or a $997 product, or a $5,000 product? It's just a thought process. Okay. As a joint venture broker, I charge a fee, as I mentioned, but I don't cost you anything really. What I do is I charge you a percentage of an upfront fee plus a percentage of the sales. Your typical joint venture broker, you're only paying them for sales they bring in. So it's no different than if you had a 2-tier affiliate program where you said to somebody, if you recommend other affiliates to me, I'll pay you 10%. Well, joint venture brokers typically are just getting that second-tier commissioning. Only thing is, instead of them just randomly recruiting people, they're going out and spending all their time and energy and focus building a sales team for you. So they're bringing in affiliates you wouldn't otherwise have. They're not typically costing you anything more than you normally pay as a second-tier commission, and yet they could easily quadruple your affiliate force. And so they're very worthwhile to have. Now, I typically charge 10% of the gross sales made by all of the affiliates that I recruit. Typically, sometimes it's more, sometimes it can be a little less if it's a very high-end product. If it's a $10,000 coaching program where a lot of coaching time, personal time by the product owner and his staff is involved, then maybe they can't afford to pay a higher percentage to me or to affiliates, so maybe the commissions will be lower, but that's what I typically charge. Plus, I charge a $10,000 upfront fee. That upfront fee is really a consulting fee. If you go to my webpage at williecrawford.com/mentoring.html, and the mentoring needs to be lowercase, you'll see this is my real fee. And it actually can go up to $20,000 for the upfront fee. And you'll see also what I charge per hour for telephone consulting and what I charge local small business owners for just consulting about growing their business. So this is what I do for a living, but I don't want to spend all my time mentoring people, coaching people, doing consulting. And so my fees basically are a way of metering my time and my access, because I do want to spend time with family and friends and actually working on causes, like helping more people in the world to have fresh, safe drinking water and enough food and adequate shelter and better education. And, so I have a lot of causes I'm involved in. The members of that mastermind group I showed you that I cruised with in December, a lot of us, we have the degree of success where, we'll have the creature comforts for the rest of our lives. We will never suffer for lack of food. If you see me, you could tell I don't suffer for lack of food. And we'll have shelter and our basic needs. And so now we're thinking, okay, how do I make a difference in the world? And the way I make a difference is by helping more people who are in villages in the middle of someplace where they know the well's infected and they still drink out of the well, or it's polluted and they still drink out of the well. And so I help with causes like that, and so I do charge fairly high consulting fees. And if you go to the Wayback Machine, which is at archive.org, you'll see that I've charged these fees for the past 3 to 5 years. That's what I charge. That's what it costs to get me as a joint venture broker. And so those fees aren't really negotiable. I'd have to really, really, really like a product in order to drop those fees to something lower or to work out some other arrangement with you. So you're actually better off, at times working with one of the students I've trained who's paid me to go through my very extensive training. But how do you get, your joint venture partners, once you get them on board, to actually follow through? I teach you be the squeaky wheel. If all you do is get them to sign up as an affiliate and you give them their link and you don't do anything else, 95% aren't going to promote. You've got to follow up with them and be the one that is reminding them that you've got a launch that's going on and that they promised to promote. They signed up, which is a promise, and that you expect them to actually follow through. And so all your emails need to basically say, okay, we're in the middle of launch now, guys, let's go. And you need to get them on an autoresponder so that every day during a launch, especially for the short launch, you're sending them a new email saying, okay, guys, the launch is going smoothly. Here's who's in the lead. If we have a contest going, here's another tool for you to use. You need to give your affiliates new emails. You can't just write 2 or 3 emails and expect them over a 2-week launch to send the same emails out to their list over and over and over again. They won't do that. You need to give them new tools, a constant assortment of new tools, and then they'll promote better. But you need to be the squeaky wheel. You need to let them know you expect them, that they said they'd help with the launch, they committed, they believed that would make a lot of sales, they looked at the copy, they looked at the product, and now you expect them to follow through with their commitment. Be the squeaky wheel. If you're too cautious in that arena, they're going to go and promote somebody else's product and your launch is going to flop. This is business. This is about being aggressive enough to be successful. And you need to train your affiliates. See, most affiliate marketers, they are like me, a retired soldier, they're a retired school teacher or a grandparent or whatever, and they look on the internet and it says you can make money by selling other people's products. But they've never sold a thing in their life, or they're not trained. I have never, ever, ever held a job offline where I wasn't trained extensively. I was trained as a navigator on C-130 airplanes, and every process that I was trained to do, I spent time in a flight simulator learning how to do it. I spent time on the airplane with an instructor, watching over my shoulder to make sure I did it right. And then I went out and I did it on my own, where the other crew members, watched each other. And then once a year, I had an evaluator who'd get on the airplane and fly with me on a flight where I did every procedure I was certified in, and they rated me. And if I didn't prove I knew how to do it properly within certain rating criteria, I lost my rating. I could lose my wings and my flight pay if I didn't maintain my rating. And so I'm very big on training. You need to train your affiliates on how to sell, which means give them some type of mini course or teach them what's working. Teach them what's working for other affiliates. Teach them what's working for your affiliates and for other affiliates, for your competitors. Study what they're doing. Study what is working in affiliate marketing, and then train your affiliates to do those things that are working. And let's see if I mentioned that. Contest. Sometimes contests excite people. Given that the top 3 to 5% of affiliates are going to make all the sales anyway, I'm not as big on contests, but they're they sort of pump up the adrenaline. They get people going because it sort of gives them bragging rights. I sold more than you did. So contests can work, but you need to make it where the person who wins the contest had to produce sufficient sales to cover your expenses. And I've seen that done wrong. I watched one guy do a contest to recruit other affiliates. And what he did was offer a $1,000 reward or bounty. He put this wanted poster out there offering a bounty to other affiliates for bringing new affiliates on board. And so he said, here's a list of my target super affiliates. And whoever gets them on board, I'll pay you $1,000. And what happened was the affiliates, instead of focusing on selling the product, focused on recruiting that list of like 50 other affiliates who all signed up because their friends said, go sign up for this. And now that product owner owed 50 grand, but his product ended up flopping and not even selling. I don't think he even sold $30,000 worth of product, yet he owed $50,000 in contest prizes before he'd even made enough money to cover that. You see how backwards that is? So you need to make sure that your prizes are based on you making a certain volume of sales, and maybe even the prize winner making a certain volume of sales. So you need to have requirements to qualify for those prizes, or else they can bite you. And again, I say focus on the 10% or the 5% of affiliates who are actually making the sales. Don't worry about those who aren't promoting. Yeah, send them emails every day saying, okay, guys, we are in the middle of a launch and we need your help, and it's going great, and certain people are really, really making a lot of sales. Motivate them, but if they're not promoting and they're the type person who signs up for 20 different promotions in a week and then doesn't focus on any of them and are struggling, you don't worry about those people. But again, you make it incredibly, incredibly easy for affiliates to get all of the tools that they need to promote, and you provide the affiliates with lots of tools. And a lot of times you need to use a platform that they are familiar with and have trust in. For example, a lot of affiliates are familiar with ClickBank, although ClickBank is backing away from the internet marketing space. And in my membership site, I'll show you what I know is going to take the place of ClickBank eventually in the internet marketing space. A very similar platform out of the UK where they screen more heavily the product owner before they let them in, but they're taking those internet marketers that can't get approved by ClickBank now because ClickBank is backing away from internet marketing. So they're moving slowly, they're growing slowly, but their system is almost identical to ClickBank's in that they pay via direct deposit or check weekly, and so you can sign up, grab a link, and start promoting. Again, they're growing very slowly, very cautiously, and they're screening very, very closely each new applicant. But I see them as replacing ClickBank in the internet marketing space very quickly. And inside my private membership site, I share a lot more information on that. Do webinars. If you have a product that you're launching, webinars are they're very effective because they let the webinar attendee feel like they're interacting with the product owner, but they're also easy for your affiliates to promote because the affiliate doesn't have to come across as trying to sell anything. They can just invite their followers, their list members, to go listen to some free training. So they feel like that there are affiliates who they make their income, they're living from selling things, but they don't like selling. And so they feel, well, I'm not really selling. I'm just inviting my list members to go to this free training. And they love doing that. So they'll promote like crazy for a free webinar, knowing that at the end of the webinar, you're going to make an offer. And so I'm very, very big on webinars. In fact, I did a challenge to make 100 grand in the month of January 2012. And I focused on just using social media to promote most of the products. And I did do a few solo ads. And I focused on promoting primarily webinars in the end because the webinars work better for selling the higher ticket items, which is what I needed to sell in order to make that volume of sales. And that's an experiment that if you wanted to check out later, I have it at a website called, I'll share that in a follow-up email to those of you who opt into one of my autoresponders or visit my blog. I won't share it right here, right now. But that was an exercise that was made successful because I promoted primarily webinars. So I picked products that sold in the $4.97 to $9.97, maybe $15.97 range, $14.97, and then I promoted those products via webinars, and they converted like crazy. So webinars are right now currently my very best selling tool, aside from live appearances at seminars and events. To get more JV partners on board and promoting, you could offer them to be part of the back end. So you could say, again, inside my membership site, inside my ebook, on my download page, I'll promote your product if you promote me on the front end. You can promote your JV partners via social media. So you notice that you're on Facebook and that one of your JV partners has posted a link to your offer, or on Twitter, one of your JV partners has tweeted about your product launch. Instead of posting your link, why not retweet that affiliate's link, or why not share that affiliate's link on Facebook or LinkedIn? What you're doing there is you're still going to make the sale, and yeah, you'll give up the affiliate commission if it's that affiliate making it, but you're encouraging that affiliate. You're showing them, I notice you're promoting and I'm helping you. And when an affiliate wins a sales contest, announce it in social media, rave about them, boost their ego, help them out, help to build them up in their their niche so that they are encouraged to work with you and work harder for you. And I've already mentioned lots of affiliate tools, new emails, new videos, new audios, new whatever to get to make it easier for them to make sales. Also focus on stick rates. And a stick rate is just the percentage of customers who buy, who keep the product. One of the issues I had with selling ClickMate products was a lot of the customers who bought those products in the internet marketing space were just spring-loaded to refund. A lot of people bought with the full intention of getting the product, downloading it, and then refunding. And they saw nothing wrong with that. That was just their ethics or lack of ethics. And so I didn't promote a lot of products there. But the marketer needs to be focused, the product owner needs to be focused on how do I get that customer who buys my product to really like it and use it and love it enough to where they keep it, they don't refund. And so that you as a product owner need to focus on how do I over-deliver in value, how to make it so that if they buy my product, they'd be crazy to refund. They would have to keep it because it just makes such perfect sense. If you can develop a product like that and you have a stick rate where your affiliates know, yes, when somebody buys Willie products, they're likely to keep it. Willie has less than a 5% refund rate, whereas there are people out there in the internet marketing space who have in excess of 50% refund rate. So you go out and you work your butt off and you make all these sales knowing that half the customers are going to refund, and so you don't even make half the commissions that you think you earn. So focus as a product owner on everything being in place and taking care of the customer so that the stick rate's there. To get your super affiliates really motivated, I would even phone or text them. Again, you're making them feel like a part of the team. So, some affiliates making you a lot of sales, pick up the phone, call them, thank them, let them know that you appreciate their effort. Text them and just say thank you, that you're doing a great job. I really appreciate this. I look forward to reciprocating. Just send them a text message. When you ask them to sign up, ask for their phone number so you can text them. Also, as you're recruiting affiliates, give them accurate stats. That they want to know how well your offer converts. And there are a lot of people who, to get more affiliates on board, they lie about this. They exaggerate. They say, yeah, this thing converts like crazy. I'm getting, most of my affiliates get a 20% conversion rate or whatever. Well, super affiliates know what percentage of their list typically buy typical products. And so when you exaggerate your numbers, they know that, and you've lost all credibility with them. And because of that, they won't promote your product. They shouldn't. And so be honest with them, and that lets them know you're trustworthy and credible. If you're going to lie to them about or exaggerate the conversion statistics, then I wonder what else does this person exaggerate? Will they cheat me? So you've got to let your affiliates know that you're honest, that you operate in integrity. So don't exaggerate your numbers. The bottom line is you need to show your affiliates that you're very focused on your launch, and that will cause them to focus on it too. That's how you get more affiliates on board and get them promoting your product or your service as you launch. So, and that was the primary focus of this presentation. So I hope you got a lot out of it and that you'll share it with others. Feel free to share this link with anybody out there. I do want to spend just a few minutes talking about my services. I mentioned that I'm a joint venture broker. As a joint venture broker, what I do is I actually step you through your own successful product launch. First of all, I review your product to make sure it's not flawed, because I'm not going to take on a product that harms my joint venture partners' reputations, that harms their customers. I'm not going to take on a product that I don't think the market wants. So I'll do like a quick market analysis. I'm trained in economics, and so I know how to look for, are people buying this product? Are people interested in this product? And what's a long-term prognosis for this product? So I'll look at that, and I'll tell you how well I feel the product will do. And if I think you need to improve it somehow, I'll tell you that too. And so that's one of the things I do. Then I review your launch plan. You have to have a launch plan. You have to have everything flowed out. Everything has to be flowed out on a timeline, because if you don't have it flowed out, things are going to crop up that you didn't anticipate, and they're going to torpedo your launch. So I'll look for that. And if you don't have a launch plan, then I'll help you to develop one. And then I look for synergy with other product owners. Who else out there is a good match that you could tie your product launch into on the front end or the back end, and then I'll look for can we reach out to those people. I'll do a group product review where I get some of my mastermind members and some of my membership site members onto a GoToWebinar call where we look at your website and we look at your copy and we look at your product and we look at your affiliate tools maybe, and we evaluate it. What's wrong with the copy? What how can the copy be improved? What's wrong with the affiliate tools? Would I buy this product? Is the price right? Or the colors right on the website? All these things. I'll bring in some members are actually professional copywriters, people with 10, 12, 20, 30 years of experience in direct response selling, often join these calls. And on these calls, we typically review 1 to 2 websites where people get to chime in. They raise their hand. I bring them onto live, bring them into the call live, and they get to share their feedback about the product. And based on that, we record it and we share it with the product owner. But it's also a chance for my clients to recruit affiliates early, because now I've showed all these, maybe 1,000 people this product. And the ones who think, well, that's a nice product and it fits my list, they'll go ahead and register as affiliates. So it's a way to recruit affiliates early, or maybe somebody will reach out to you and say, why don't we work together? And if you'll promote me on the front end or back end, I'll reciprocate. So it's a way to get early exposure to my clients' products. So I do these networking and brainstorming calls using GoToWebinar. I record it and I provide the recording to you so that if you choose to, you can improve your product. Then I, as a joint venture broker, I go out and I recruit an army of affiliates for the product. And I may even reach out to other certified joint venture brokers and ask them to help me with the recruiting. Or if I can't take on the product, I may pass it off to one of the joint venture brokers that I've certified and trained. If I do that, because I work with them hand in hand for a full year, you actually get 2 brokers for the price of 1, because they'll be doing the work, but I'll be right there by their sides, watching over their shoulders, with them asking me questions. They have, my joint venture brokers have my phone number where they can call me or text me. They have my Skype contact. We're in Facebook. We're in a Skype group together. They have access to me through a membership site that only they have access to. And so I work with them side by side. And if I end up handing your project off to a student of mine, it is really you getting 2 brokers for the price of 1. This costs $10,000 plus 10% of the gross sales made by all the joint venture partners that I recruit. And since it does involve a lot of my personal time and can involve a lot of labor, I only want a handful of people. I want a maximum of like 1 a month, and preferably 1 every 2 to 3 months, because I have my own life. And so, if you're interested in my services, you can go to williecrawford.com/mentoring and read more about it. I have to like the product, believe it'll sell, and so I only take on top quality products. And I also insist upon being the only JV broker. There are people who go out and they'll reach out to 5 different JV brokers and say, can you help me to get new affiliates? Well, what you get in internet marketing in particular is you've got like 5 different JV brokers, often reaching out to some of the same people. I don't want to reach out to somebody who says, oh yeah, Joe's already told me about that. I'm wasting my time when I do that. So I want to be your only joint venture broker, and then I'll devote my full time for a while to just your product. The people, when you hire 10 different people, they send an email out, and that's it. They don't spend a lot of time trying to recruit affiliates for you. I'm going to spend you're hiring me and my consulting to launch your product. So I want to be the only joint venture broker that you have, with the exception of if I have a student work on it primarily and I work by their side, then you've got 2 joint venture brokers for the price of 1. And if you don't need to hire me at those rates, which were just shown on williecrawford.com/mentoring.html, then maybe you want to let me be your mentor and train you to be a joint venture broker. And here's what's involved in that, and why I'm not afraid of the competition. Right now, there are millions, literally millions of new people coming online who they can't find jobs, or they're just retiring from the military. The U.S. military is downsizing because we pull troops out of Afghanistan and Iraq, and they're just downsizing because of budget cuts. And so you've got millions of people being dumped into the job market. You've got millions of new college grads who can't find jobs, partly because the older workers who would normally retire at 65 are staying in the workforce longer. So there's fewer jobs being freed up by the older workers for the new college grads to take. So all these people are being pushed online to find work, and a lot of them are starting their own businesses where they're creating their own products, where they very soon figure out, I can't get anybody to notice it, I can't get anybody to promote it, and that's when they turn to joint venture brokers. So that's why I know that there will be a need for thousands of new joint venture brokers, and a lot of traditional offline businesses are also turning to the internet, and so they need people who can get their products noticed. So quite literally, I see this industry growing. I see the need for thousands of certified joint venture brokers over the next couple of years, so I have no fear whatsoever of competition. And also, I looked at my competitors, and most of them, because they haven't been doing this, haven't been doing internet marketing for 15 years, haven't been doing joint venture brokering for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years like I have, they don't really know what they're doing, and so they can't deliver. I spend a full year training my proteges, working side by side with them. First of all, I put you inside a membership training area, a site I set up just for that, where the first thing I give you access to is some MP3s and PDFs from 2 teleclasses that I recorded. One was on just doing joint ventures, and I think that was 6 sessions where we talked just about what it takes to do successful joint ventures. And then I did a session, a teleclass on being a joint venture broker, which was 4 sessions, where every week for a couple of hours, I trained student joint venture brokers, but instead of training them in a classroom setting, we talked over a teleseminar, asking questions, talking about all the things it takes to build a successful product launch and to pull it off. And so that's one of the first things my students get access to. Then I give you time-released access to recorded video from my live $10,000 per person intensive 5-day total immersion workshop. So what I have there is I have about 40 hours of recordings, and I've broken it into convenient 20 to 30-minute videos. So this is streaming video that you watch, and each video I describe what you're going to learn in the video, so you can go back, and if you need to study a specific topic, you can just find that specific video. But I've just chopped into I've chopped 40 hours worth of video, and it'll eventually be probably more like 60 hours because I've done 2 live workshops. I've chopped it into little 20 to 30-minute segments where I teach you joint venture brokering, but in a home study environment. And then I have you actually go out and start brokering joint ventures, and you can bring your own. You can have clients you find on your own, and you bring those to me, and I'll look at that joint venture project and either give you a thumbs up or thumbs down, because I've seen a lot of students take on joint ventures they shouldn't take on, and so I'll let you know that very early if it's something I think is destined to flop. And if you need me to, I'll hand you a pre-screened joint venture to broker, and after you finish that one, I'll hand you another one. So I'll work with you for a full year. I'll go over the launch plan with you, looking for flaws, and then I'll watch and correct you as you execute this joint venture, as you recruit affiliates, as you motivate those affiliates, as you do different things. You'll have access to the people I work with, like the copywriters. So your client should not be writing copy. So I'll help you to find good copywriters, programmers, webmasters, any tools, agreements I use. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I will show you the agreements that I use, the paperwork I use with clients, and things like non-disclosure agreements and joint venture broker agreements. I'll show you mine, but I won't give you legal advice. I'll just show you what I use, and I'll point you to some legal resources. I show you all the tools and all the systems that I use. I hold nothing back from my students. And again, I work with you for a full year as you do a series of joint ventures, and you become 100% comfortable in your new profession. So what I noticed is when I trained my first class, and then my second class was, and then said, okay, go do it. I've taught you everything I know. They still didn't feel very comfortable doing it because they hadn't done it enough. And they also, one of the first questions they got asked by potential clients was, so how many joint ventures have you done, and what were the results? And I want them to be able to say, I've done 1 or 2, and these were the results. And by the way, you're getting 2 joint venture brokers for the price of 1, because I'm working side by side with the #1 joint venture broker in the internet marketing space, which is Willie Crawford. And so everything I do will be under his watchful eyes, and you get me to do all the work, but Willie is guiding me, and I have his phone number. Even when he's out on a cruise someplace, I can reach him by text or whatever. So all during the time I'm working your product launch, you really got 2 joint venture brokers for the price of 1. And experience has shown me that's necessary. I need to work with my students for a full year to get you to where you feel really, really comfortable. I want you earning 6 or even 7 figures in annual income just from being a connector. the average American, I don't know what the average income is now, but you're making like 2 to 3 times the average income as a joint venture broker. Even if you do it just in your spare time, if you do it full time, 7 figures is easy. It takes work. It takes finding the right joint ventures, and you're not going to be making 7 figures after just a month in the class. That's not realistic. You don't go to any type of training and instantly you're at that income level. So this is serious training. I'm committing to working with you for a full year, teach you everything that I know, but I'm not promising you to be an instant joint venture guru overnight. I'm saying that you need to be willing to stick with it for that full year, and there'll be ups and downs. You'll probably get discouraged at times. That's when you come back to me and say, I'm not getting enough joint venture partners on board, and I'll explain to you what's wrong with your approach, and I'll help you to identify more potential joint venture partners and things like that. So I'll work with you for a full year to get you to where you're very comfortable and competent. Okay? You'll have unlimited access to me, and I say within reason. That's because I don't want you just Skyping me to chit-chat about something, because I'm working with other people too and on my own projects, and I have my own life. Inside the membership site, there's a coaching board where if you just have a question that's not time sensitive, you can post it there, and I get a pop-up that tells me that I've got questions waiting for me. You can call me or text message me, but not every day do you need to be doing this. Just whenever you have something, if you've got something that's time sensitive, call me or text me, and I'll get back to you. At live events, I attend a lot of them just to meet with people, to meet with potential joint venture partners or clients, but more so, or as much so, to meet with my students who can say, Willie, can I get an hour of your time? And I'll set aside an hour. We'll find a quiet setting, and you can show me what you're working on, show me or discuss with me challenges that you're facing, and I'll give you an hour of my time or 2 hours of my time, however long it takes. If you're my student, I'll be there for you. But with the one-on-one, face-to-face meetings, you have to come to where I'm at. I'm not going to travel to where you're at, okay? The cost for this is a one-time $10,000 or $1,000 per month for the first year. Now, the $10,000 is one time. If it's $1,000 a month, of course, that's going to cost $12,000 that first year. But there's no obligation to go beyond the first month. So it's really a month at a time. But I'm only going to guarantee the $1,000 per month price for the first 12 months. So after that, the price can and probably will increase for new students coming on board. For existing students, after a year, you shouldn't really need too much of my time, so it'll be negotiable at that point. And so, that is the cost of the training, and that gives you all the stuff that I said, with the biggest benefit or feature being you get my time, you get unlimited access to me. Now, because you are essentially buying my time and using my time, if you go for the month-to-month purchase, then you basically got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get a refund on the last month that you purchased, but you can't go back 2 months, because if at the end of last month you decided you didn't want to continue, you need to cancel. I'm not going to refund beyond 30 days because you are using my time. And if you go and check out that page I showed you earlier, williecrawford.com/mentoring.html, you'll see that people pay quite a high price for my time. I'm giving you a lower rate on my time than anybody out there gets, and it's because I want you as my student to actually learn a craft, a profession that you'll be able to do for years to come. But I want you to be very serious. So if you're uncertain at all about this purchase, then don't buy it. In fact, you can't just go to the webpage, click on the link and buy it. That's impossible. There is no webpage set up for you to order it. You've got to contact me, and then I give you how to order it. Again, after that first 12 months, if you want to continue in the membership, it's optional and the price is negotiable, okay? But to be considered for my training, for me to personally train and work with you for a year and then certify you, I require an interview. So we need to get on the phone. We need to talk. I need to find out, who you are, how committed you are, what type of person you are. What have you done before? Have you started 100 different projects and dropped them all and never stuck to them and refunded on everything you've ever purchased? Because if that's you, I don't want you as a student. I don't want somebody that whines and constantly complains. I want somebody that's serious and that will do what they need to do. So if that's you, then you need to go to williecrawford.com/help desk. And I see there that the word help desk, that needs to be a lowercase h. So williecrawford.com support.com/help desk. And that'll give you my help desk. And on my support desk, there's a category in a drop-down menu. All you do is click on Submit Ticket, and in the drop-down menu, there's a category that says Personal for Willie. You need to select that category and then just tell me you're interested in my joint venture broker training, and maybe tell me, if you're working a day job, what times work best for me to call you, and we'll set up a time to discuss you taking my training. Again, this is not open to everyone. I only want a handful of students at a time because I'm giving you unlimited access to my most valuable asset, which is my time. And I really want to spend time out fishing and on cruises and playing with my grandkids and traveling to exotic places. So I want somebody who's a serious student who can go through the training, all the way through the training, and then when you feel ready, say, Willie, I'm ready to do my first joint venture, and then you either reach out and find your own first client, or I hand you a client, and then I guide you as you flow out that launch and work with that client. So that's what I'm looking for in a student. And if that's you, go to williecrawford.com/help desk, and the help desk is, again, lowercase, and then use the category Personal for Willie, and I'll get back to you. That's the end of my presentation. I do appreciate your time. I realize this was quite long, but I think that I've showed you a lot more than the average person knows about getting joint venture partners, getting them to commit, getting them to actually follow through. And I've also pointed you to a career that quite literally will make 7 figures for me this year. So it's a very lucrative career if you do it right. It does take time. It takes getting known. It takes building relationships. It takes effort. If you're willing to put in the effort, I welcome you to my lifestyle. If not, feel free to go back and watch this over and over again and learn more and more. The more you watch a lot of training, the more it sinks in. So this is one of those things where each time you watch the recording, you're probably going to pick up something new. So feel free to go back and watch this a dozen times if you want to. And also feel free to share this link with your friends who might be interested in learning how to do joint ventures better, or learning how to get more joint venture partners on board, or just learning about what it takes to be a successful and effective joint venture broker. I didn't really hold back in this video, but to really be a top-notch joint venture broker, you do need serious training, just like you wouldn't expect to be in any other profession without going through some training. And so I have the training available for you when you're ready for it. Again, this is Willie Crawford. Thank you very much for your attention.